Cek. Ada. Terakhir kita sudah bermain quest Arlecchino. Sekarang kita akan melanjutkan quest dari Nona Furina. Let's go. Satu lagi ada Oh bentar, belum di share ke sini ternyata. Oke. Terakhir kita udah sampai sini. Aduh, ini bisa dapat. Aduh, 7 hari lagi, guys. Udah 7.000, tinggal 3.000 lagi. Harusnya bisa sih. Quest story Furina, nice. Ada Furina ya, let's go. Kepada hari kemarin, let's go. Karena ini storynya juga bagus ya tentang Furina. Terakhir juga quest arco-nya dari Furina, jadi kita bakalan aduh, belum 2 linggo ternyata. Innalillahi. Let's go. Kita akan bertemu dengan
Hey Catherine, it's us. Got any new commissions? Specifically one with a huge more attack, perhaps?
basa-basi dikit dong.
It's just being enthusiastic. We're old friends now, she gets it.
Lah.
It's always a pleasure to see our two most avid adventurers again. Looking for the next challenge, I see.
Okay.
Actually, we do in fact have a rather urgent commission that is still open. Having read the details, however, I don't believe you'd consider it to be lucrative.
Don't worry about that. We were just kidding. So what's the situation?
Okay.
To put it simply, the requester is looking
Pemeran
for a
utama wanita
temporary
pengganti
replacement
sebuah drama
actress for their
musikal.
musical. The original cast member
Okay.
ran into some issues, but the troupe has also been experiencing some
Jangan tidak mau
financial
membayar penonton.
difficulties.
Oke.
That
Jadi
does sound
ternyata
like a
intinya
tricky
mereka nyari
situation.
That's right.
sudah banyak
Our
pertolongan
adventurers reached out to many actors.
Okay.
There are only a few days left until the performance. If they can't find someone in time, they'll probably have to postpone the show.
Oke, jadi kita
And delays
kayaknya
tend to
ditugasin
create
buat
all
nyari
sorts of
pemeran
new
pengganti deh.
problems.
Got it. Oh, this one's a doozy.
Apakah kemungkinan Furina?
Even if we took the commission, neither of us have any experience starring a musical.
Memang.
If you're interested in helping, why not start by having a chat with the... Maybe you can't fill the role yourselves, but you might be able to help him figure out another solution.
Betul. Siapa tahu ketemu
It's
solusinya.
that guy, huh? No wonder, he looks like he just ate a sour lemon.
Pantas mukanya kayak habis makan jeruk. Oke, kita pelajari dulu deh.
Approved. Let's go.
Let's go.
Hello there. Are you the guy looking for a new actress?
Wait, I know you two. Are you really willing to act in my...
Okay.
Wow, sounds like we're pretty famous in Fontaine already. But to answer your question, neither of us have any experience in musicals. But we heard that you're in a bit of a bind, so we figured we could at least try to help you think of a solution.
Okay.
I see. It's okay. I knew that asking for a volunteer was a long shot. If we can't find someone to step in, we'll have no choice but to cancel the show. It would be such a shame.
Duit penjualan tiket kan show aktris.
That's the thing.
Kami ini bukan
We're not
rombongan
some
teater kelas
high-profile
atas,
theater
cuma
troupe. Just a group of... All our
Okay,
sets and props are
perlengkapan dan
very
peralatan.
crude. We're grateful enough just to get an audience, never mind ticket fees.
Oh, jadi
If we had a
iya.
way to make this profitable,
Nggak jual tiket
things might have
mereka.
turned out differently. But now, it looks inevitable that we'll disband.
Disband?
Okay.
You're splitting up the
Oh.
Oh, I guess the lady at the
Iya,
Adventurers
ini
Guild
harus
didn't
sampai
tell you?
pertemuan terakhir kami.
One last show. And after that, we go our separate ways.
Kami
So
sih
we were really
ingin.
hoping to end on a high
Okay.
note. Nobody wants things to just fizzle out. Not after all the time and effort we've invested
Kepada
into
orang.
it. Yeah, the leading lady, in fact. She's been dealing with a chronic illness ever
Semenjak
since
kecil dia
childhood.
menderita.
And unfortunately, it flared up again recently.
Oke, dia
The
nggak bisa
show just
tampil.
won't be the same without her. But for everyone else's sake, I still hope we can...
Got it. We have a clearer picture now. What if we sponsored the show? Traveler, how much more?
Besti kamu ada duit berapa?
Please,
Tidak
there's
perlu
no need
sampai
to go that
segitunya.
far.
Aku juga mau. Oke.
I wouldn't feel right asking such a huge favor. And I can't promise that we'd ever be able to pay you back.
Uang bukan masalah aja ya.
Good
Kan
point.
juga.
If the actress just goes through the
Duit
motions for
nanti
the more
pertunjukan
than
jadi
not
laskar,
exactly
Bu.
rescuing, we should find someone who will
Kita
put on
cari
the
orang yang
best
bisa.
performance possible.
Gimana kalau si Furina?
Oh, wait! What about... That's how you know we're the best
Nah,
partners.
selalu saatin. Nah,
She
sekarang
has all the free time in the world right now.
kalian lagi nganggur-nganggur-nganggurnya.
She's really good at
Dia pintar
performing, and
berdama
she was
dan
once
pintar.
super popular with the crowd. Performing in a musical should be a peak.
Oke.
Who are you thinking of? Sounds
Kayaknya
like
terseorang.
someone famous.
Furina.
Her! You're...
No. Paimon
Kamu
doesn't
nggak tahu sih
actually
dia
know
sudah
if
pernah
she's
manggung
performed on
tapi
stage
kan.
before, but
Oke.
You're not wrong there. She has actually performed in a number of big-name shows before. But even if she's no longer the Hydro Archon, it's not like she's suddenly a commoner. She's still an idol to many people in Fontaine, including myself. I just think Lady Farina might feel a bit
Katanya-
out of place in an
katanya-
amateur troupe like ours. Well, yes, but... Fair enough. I mean,
kalau dia rela
if
ya.
she was actually
Tanya.
willing to,
Oke.
then of course I'd be honored. I'm sure everyone in our troupe has probably dreamt of performing on stage with her one day. Of course, it all depends on whether she's interested. She might consider this opportunity beneath her.
no point in stressing about that. We'll only know if we ask her. And besides, things are different now. There's no reason for her to be all high and mighty
Dia nggak perlu
anymore.
lagi ulah. Oke.
Thank you for your help.
Oke, akhirnya
Where does Furina actually
jadinya
live
si
nowadays?
Furina ya.
She used to live in luxury at the Palais Mermonia, but she's, moved out, right?
As it happens, I have her current address here. I can provide it to you.
Woo! When did you get here?
I came over when things were starting to sound more promising. I thought I should be at the ready in case my assistance is needed. It is my duty to support commissioners in any way I can.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Well, now that we've got the address, we'll go find Furina.
Oke. Kisah Putri Oceania. Marahin kita gedein aja lah.
Paimon coming in! Paimon coming in! Is this level okay? Can you hear Paimon? Paimon coming in! Paimon coming in! Is this level okay? Can you hear Paimon?
As a Jew. Ruler cherishes their gems.
Bentar, bentar. Sabar tim, aku share dulu di TikTok bentar. Tadadadada. Anjir, lagu apa sih? Oke, let's go, kita lanjut. Na, 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 na. Lewat.
Did Catherine really give us the right address? She lives here? Not that there's anything wrong with this place, it's just, a bit of a...
You know, it's common courtesy to make sure the homeowner isn't an earshot when you're
Nah,
denigrating their
datang dia.
abode.
Okay, when did popping on a thin air become all the rage? First Catherine and now you?
I was just out on a shopping trip. I ran out of macaroni, so I went to grab a few more bags. I used to have a much wider range of choices when it came to food. But now I'm finding that simple, traditional home cooking can be quite delicious too. Not at all. As long as you have different kinds of sauces in, you can have macaroni and tomato sauce one week, macaroni and bolognese the next.
Oh, sounds like you're really struggling to cope.
How rude! Questioning my cooking skills. It's not like I have a very eventful life these days. Actually, I barely leave the house. Besides, I'm sure I could master dishes like la lettre focilor or blubber profiteroles in no time, if I felt
Ah, there it is. You don't know how to cook.
Not yet, maybe, but... Anyway, what are you even doing here? I do hope... Let me first be clear that I'm not taking guests at this time. So if you're just here to clown around, then please be on your way. Shoot!
Sorry! We're sorry! Please don't be mad! Yeah, exactly! What the traveler said! Paimon wasn't trying to make fun. Hang on a sec! You weren't exactly holding back either!
My help? Well, maybe you're forgetting that I'm no longer...
Don't worry, it's nothing that serious. It's just very specific, and you're the one with the power to help!
Oh? Well, if that's the case, then... So tell me, what specific...
Oke, kita cerita.
I see. I knew you couldn't have come all this way just to amuse yourselves at my expense. After all, I was once the brightest star in all of Fontaine, well-versed in all the various performing arts. A mere musical is well within my capabilities. But, given the present circumstances...
How come? It sounds like this would be be a breeze for you.
True, but I have made a decision to retire from the stage. Although I am no longer required to play the role of the Hydro Archon, centuries of pretending to be a different person changes you completely. I'm not the same. Of
Okay.
course, that can't be undone
Ini
now.
masih bahas kejadian yang
It's too
quest
late,
Archon kemarin.
and I have no intention
Kalau
of
dia sudah
reinventing
bukan
myself all
Archon
over
lagi,
again.
guys.
But at least I can say that I no longer desire to play any new roles.
Paimon can understand, but this is just a one-off part to fill in for someone who's sick. Surely that's okay.
Whether it's a one-off or not, it's a boundary that I've committed to no longer cross. If I make an exception to the rule now, I'm just leaving a back door for myself. So I'm not going to perform.
Oh, dia
And
nggak
that
mau.
is that.
Okay, guess there's no convincing you. Well, is there anything else we can... Do you know any other actors who might be interested in the role?
Nope.
Short and to the point,
Singkat pada
okay?
jelas, baiklah.
I've never been great at maintaining relationships. Besides, since I'm just an ordinary person now, they'll probably just laugh in my face if true, but I mean, could you even blame them? I show up out of the blue, begging and groveling for their help with a show they won't even get paid for? Ooh, no way. I'm dying from embarrassment just thinking about it.
Well, is there anything else we can do?
Have I not made myself clear? You're barking up the wrong tree. I don't want this job, nor do I know of anyone else who would. Sorry. I didn't mean for that to sound so harsh. I wish I could help, really.
It's all right, Furina. Paimon just wanted to make sure we tried everything. Oh, everyone in the troupe will be so... Yeah, I guess that's all we can do now. All right, then. We'll see you around, Furina.
Toodaloo to you.
Kepada hari kemarin. Pada hari kemarin kembali menceritakan pandangan
It's
Furina.
too bad, but we have to respect Furina's decision. Maybe the thought of performing brings up too many painful memories now.
Gimana ya? Dia nggak
Hah?
mau, coy.
What's going on? Are they arguing?
That's besides the point. I'll ask you again. Why did you start looking for a replacement without my consent? When did I tell you I'm going to take a step back?
You didn't need to say it. We've known each other for how long now? We know the signs. But you never tell us about your illness, even when it's clearly flaring up.
And that gives you the right to make a decision on my behalf?
Shortly after you left, the troupe's lead actress came to the Adventurers Guild. She believes that she's healthy enough to perform. Excuse me, but can you both take a moment to discuss something else for now? The adventurer assigned to your commission has returned.
Sorry, I was just dealing with a little misunderstanding. So, how did your conversation with Furina go?
Sadly, it's a no from her. We tried to persuade her, but she wasn't having it. She doesn't want to play the role for personal reasons.
I see. Well, circumstances have changed a little, so maybe that's not such bad news after all. You see, our leading lady has just informed me that she's well enough to make it to the show after all.
Oh, right! Sounds like everything worked itself out then. Yeah, she'd be livid. We'd get the scolding of a lifetime.
Jeez, is Lady Furina
Only joking, calm down. So, despite the fact that we failed to complete the commission, we were still racking our brains for ideas on the way back here.
Look, there's no point arguing with you about this anymore. This is the last chance we have, though. If your illness flares up again, there won't be time to find any... So, are you absolutely sure you'll be able to handle it? The whole team is putting everything they have into this final performance. We have.
Yes, I'm completely confident. I've been taking a new medication from the doctor, and it's working brilliantly. I share everyone's desire to commemorate all our years as a troupe with a proper farewell show. So, the last thing I want is to be left out. Every one of us thinks of this troupe as their home, myself included.
You're right. I'm sorry. I let myself get too worried about the show. I should have asked for your permission first.
All's well that ends well. Sounds like the show will go on. Sure.
Ketemu lagi. Lah dia ngintip.
Hey, how did you... I was just passing by because...
Tauan.
I realized I forgot a... Alright, I'm coming. Hello,
Furina? Didn't you say you were gonna take a rest at home? What did
I was just ever so slightly concerned about the situation you met. When you came to talk with me earlier, I jumped right to explaining my position and said some strongly, and all before I even had a full grasp of the situation. I'm sorry, Paimon.
Oh, it's totally fine. Paimon didn't take any of that personally.
You really have a knack for asking the most I felt very sheepish, having had a change of heart after flatly refusing you. And then, but in any case, it sounds like the issue has
Yeah. When they said they were gonna ask for your help, I almost had a heart attack. I mean, how could we be worthy of having Lady
There's no need to think like that, and no need to keep addressing me. I was wondering, if this troupe is so important to all of you, why does it, if the difficulties are purely financial, then there must be a solution. You could put the shows on pause while you look for a sponsor, for instance. Everyone seems so devoted to the troupe. I'm sure if you keep chipping away, you'll find a way through.
We all want to believe that, but some things are just beyond our control. Everything's been going downhill ever since we lost our director. She was the heart and soul of our troupe. She kept us going.
Her name was O'Reilly, and she was the founder as well as the artistic director of our troupe. And tragically, she was a victim in the serial disappearances case.
What?
That's actually how I recognized these two. It was all thanks to their efforts that the true culprit was brought to justice.
Wait, apa dia bilang?
But still,
Karena semakin Oke. Kami juga ingin begitu, tapi selalu ada keadaan yang buruk. Dia itu roh dan jiwa guru. Dia sendiri pergi sekaligus pengarah arsitek Armada dan dia. Oh, ada konek sama itu. Orang yang hilang kemarin. Aku kenal wajah dua orang ini karena mereka. Oke, lanjut.
She was a loyal fan of your performances, Miss Furina. They were what first inspired her to get into musical theater. She rallied many people around her who were destitute or had lost their sense of purpose in life, and convinced them to join her troupe. She wrote her own scripts, acted on stage, and mentored each and every one of us. People loved our performances back then. We seemed to be going from strength to strength. Things were really looking up for us.
And then disaster struck.
yeah. After that, the entire troupe fell into disarray. None of us know anything about script writing, let alone how to handle the business side of things. It's agonizing. But ultimately, we'd rather end things now on our own.
Oh.
Sedih ya.
What a terrible
Pasti
waste.
membuat kita yang berasal dari
A
latar
gifted
belakang.
artist from humble beginnings who achieved so much and no
Hidupnya
doubt had
harus
much more to
berakhir
give.
dengan-
And then her life was so cruelly taken. I suppose it's fair to say then that this final show, besides being your farewell to the stage, is also your final...
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Well, good thing I followed the traveler here. After hearing this tragic
Oke,
tale...
oke.
Furina.
I know what you're thinking, but I by no means plan to cross the boundary I've set for myself. Besides, I can,
Kok bisa
however,
ngomong
provide some artistic guidance from the
Okay.
vantage point of a highly experienced, but only if you feel this is something that would help, of course.
Oh, most definitely. We'll take any guidance that you can give.
We unfortunately don't have any budget for a consultant, though. Will that be a problem?
No,
I don't
it's free.
need any compensation. All I'd ask in return, if you're willing, is that you tell me some more about the life and work of your late director. Something I've begun to realize since my departure from the Opera Epiclese is that there's a lot you don't see when you observe everything from on high. The law only judges criminal behavior and does not weigh human emotion. The court's verdict can settle the question of criminal liability, but what about all the unresolved emotions of the parties involved? What happens to them? An interesting answer. But if you ask me, I think all emotions should take, par exemple, how this troupe pines for their late director. Things such as this I have never witnessed before. And so I should like to observe, perchance to understand.
Still a fan of your old dramatic monologues then, huh? You just want to get back in on the action.
No. This is a completely different situation.
The name's not Swine, it's Paimon!
Would you be willing to join me? Come on, take a break from adventuring to listen to a story.
Thank you all so much. Our director was a huge fan of Miss Furina's performances, as of course we all are. All right, follow me. We'll go to our usual practice space. Please excuse the size. It's a little on
Curiga
the
kayaknya
smaller
bakalan
side.
pemeran utamanya bakalan sakit pas apa nih, kontes. Terus digantiin sama Furina deh. Kita ke tempat latihan dulu. Anjir, gimana cuy, jauh kah? Oh, di rumah kecil yang ini. Nggak ada orang. Oh, ada.
Huh? Lady Furina?
What's Lady Furina doing here?
Hello all. Allow me to explain. As of today, Miss Furina will be supporting our production of The Little Oceanid in the role of artistic consultant.
Anjay.
These two over here are the ones that made it possible. They kindly reached out to Miss Furina on our behalf. I'm sure they need no introduction. You bet! That was the trial of the century!
You helped bring our director's murderer to justice. We can't thank you enough.
Oh, please don't mention it. We're just here to join in on the fun.
So, you were saying
Kisah
The
Putri
Little
Ocean.
Oceanid?
Yeah, that's the name of our final show. It's an unfinished script left behind by our director. One of our greatest regrets is that she never got to complete it. So, if we can bring it to the stage and make it a successful show,
Wait, but if it's not finished, then...
Yeah, we've been battling issues on every front, trying to realize this dream. Anyway, let me give you a quick summary of what the story's all about. The protagonist of the story is a young Oceanid who transforms herself into human form, despite the protests of her family. She longed to live just like any other human. And sure enough, but one day, her true identity was exposed. And her...
So far, so good. A classic tale.
that's one of the issues we've been trying to deal with. Unfortunately, this was as far as the director
sampai
got
situ,
with her script. We need a proper ending so we can bring this musical to the stage. But people have different opinions on which direction to take.
We still haven't decided between a happy ending or a true-to-life tragedy.
By true to life, you mean the director's sudden disappearance?
Yeah, like they say, truth is stranger than fiction. But then there's the question of whether we really want to use the stage to pass our raw pain onto the audience.
Exactly. A lot of the time, people come to watch
Cuy,
a
yang belum
show
tahu
just
ini game
hoping for some
Genshin.
light entertainment.
Kalau
We have to
quest
consider
story-nya,
their
misi
emotional
story-nya
stake in
ini kayak
this,
gini ya.
not just our own. And one
Diulangin
last
lagi,
thing.
kita kalau
We're
main
still
semisal
waiting
3
on
jam,
confirmation from two of our main
kita
actors.
dengerin story-nya kayak
The first
gini-gini
is
doang nih.
Paulo, who
2,5
plays
jam,
the
Cuk.
protagonist's lover.
Baku hantamnya cuma
He's
30
locked
menit.
himself away to focus on writing an
Ya agak
ending for the script.
membuat ngantuk ya,
But
tapi
the
ya mau
deadline's
gimana.
passed and we still haven't heard from him.
Tapi ada beberapa story
The
yang
other is
bagus,
Villemont,
makanya
who plays the main
tetap kita
antagonist.
mainin.
He took the director's death pretty hard. Hasn't set foot in the city since. He did write to us, promising that he'll be there for the final performance, but we haven't seen or heard from him since. So we're not really sure what to make of that.
Huh. Although, now that we have Miss FURINA helping us, maybe we should take the opportunity to get everyone back together.
What opportunity? What do you mean?
Maybe you're unaware, but your name has always been like a rallying cry for us.
Our director was constantly singing your praises. All of us look up to you as a role model.
Oh, stop! You're making me all flustered. Although, not in a bad way. I suspect the reason they're dragging their feet is that they have their doubts about whether the show will really go ahead, considering all the issues you've been facing. But one by one, all the obstacles are being removed. Now is the time to rally the troops.
Oke.
Makes sense. Okay, priority number 1. Let's check in with Paulo and see where he's at with the ending. He went back to Poisson a few days ago. Said that staying in a friend's home might help him to relax and escape.
I thought the last thing his friend would want right now would be to take visitors, given that Poisson was flooded not too long ago. But I guess it's the opposite. A friend...
Yeah, maybe he could use some company.
Poisson.
Ya ingat.
Nothing. I suppose my presence will be indispensable. So allons-y. To Poisson.
Halo, situ pesan. Let's go. Aduh, salah pencet, Cok. Oh, emang benar. Duh, jauh ya. Oh, ada doggy.
If I remember correctly, this is where he's staying.
Who is it?
Oh, Leo.
It's me. Is the script ready?
You came all the way here for that?
All right. Forget that for now. Just come on out. We've got some great news.
Oke.
Nice try. Look, just give me some time, okay? I'm just wrapping up this last part of the script. I'll be out once I'm done.
Oh,
Okay,
iya,
then.
nggak bisa diganggu.
Looking forward to your masterpiece.
So, as expected, he's missed the
The ending is one of the most important parts of the show. Even once he's done, it isn't final until we've all had the chance to read through and make sure we agree on it.
Someone told me they'd
Oh,
just seen
no.
you in Poisson. I assumed it was a case of mistaken identity, but sure enough, here you are.
I was wondering if we might run into her.
So, you're here for Paolo? Looks like he could be a while, so feel free to take a stroll around town in the meantime.
Oh, it's okay. We can just wait here.
Thank you for being so considerate, Miss Navia. That sounds wonderful. We'll take that stroll. Get over here, you! How oblivious are you?
How are things in Poisson now? Any better?
Things are on the mend, but it's a slow process. Some people may never recover from the trauma they experienced.
I'm sorry to hear that. I wish there was something I could do.
Please, Must our conversations take such a depressing turn every time? We all have painful memories, but we don't have to let them cloud everything we do. And if you're trying to make a new start, perhaps it's best if you don't bring up the past all the time.
Thank you for your words of comfort. You make a very good point. But for now, at least, I think I should stay with the way I'm feeling for a while longer.
It's okay. These things take time. Moving on from a painful experience is easier said than done. Which brings me to why I'm here. I thought you should probably know that not everyone here is ready to forgive and forget after the Hydro Archon's inaction in the face of catastrophe. To avoid upsetting the peace, I told the townspeople that everyone here is a member of the theater troupe, and that you are just an actress playing the role of FURINA. It's not a perfect solution, but hopefully it means you won't have to lie low while you're here.
That's so thoughtful of you, Navia.
Well, what do you expect? I am the courageous and considerate president of Spina di Rosula, after all, like my father before me. Anyway, that was all. Look after her now.
Siap, bos.
Off we go then. Let's take a look up there. I don't have any friends that I can be frank and honest with, so maybe she's right. You're the closest thing to friends that I have. I'm so grateful that Miss Navia was so understanding. To be perfectly honest, I didn't know if I was ready to meet her. It's always easiest to just run away from your problems. But that never fixes anything. You can't get around the obstacles without facing them.
So that's why you were nervous when they brought up Poisson.
Yeah. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't scared of coming back here. Still, I felt it was something I had to do. As I was saying before, I want to see for myself the things that I never could in the past. I'd be overjoyed if the people here could find it in their hearts to forgive me. But they're more likely to unleash a tirade of vitriol against me. Yeah, I can tell people are watching me. I'm sure some people here see the idea of someone coming to Poisson dressed as the Hydro Archon as extremely disrespectful. I used to be terrified of the gaze of other people, especially when they had... I guess I wasn't quite ready for this after all.
I'm not surprised you're making yourself go through all of this.
I can't let myself see only the things I want to see. How would that make...
Look! There seems to be a crowd gathering over there.
Probably time we made a move. How about we check out Spina di Rosula's ship? We should have a...
Terus temani Furina rehat. Ke atas lagi ya.
Into the wind. Time to go. One with nature.
One with nature.
I'm sorry. You probably just wanted a relaxing stroll. And here I am.
We don't mind. It's actually refreshing.
Great. Well, I appreciate your company. I don't know whether you can tell, but the years of suffering and loneliness aren't the only reason I have a hard time facing up to who I used to be. As I stand here by the ship, I can't get the images of the rising water out of my mind. One after another, people were taken by the water. All those treasured lives and memories, they thought their god would protect them. They had absolute faith that when disaster struck, a divine power would save them from harm. And all the while, I played my part to perfection to convince them that was true. But then the floodwaters finally came, and the Hydro Archon did nothing.
You shouldn't look at it like that. You were only doing your duty.
I've had to go through so many moments like that for the sake of protecting the truth. As time went on, it got harder and harder to bear, and I became more lonely and isolated. Eventually, I realized I had nothing left except the truth. I became terrified of completely failing in my task, and was haunted by the thought of being left all alone. Fortunately, we were able to avoid the worst-case scenario. Everyone rose to their responsibilities, and I finally regained my freedom. But on some level, freedom also means no longer being needed. I have no further use to people.
Paimon would have never imagined you'd see it that way.
Reward? I guess so. Back then, I didn't even dare to dream about. I was scared if someone believe in the FURINA. I had to keep all my feelings, all my curiosity about life to myself. No one could be allowed to know. That's what I really meant when I said I'm no good at maintaining relationships.
So that's where you were coming from. Paimon totally thought you were just a bit of a diva at heart.
Could you please get off my case? I don't know what's gotten into you today. I'm making an effort here. You could at least try to do the same. I do. I once had nothing but the truth, and now I'm finally free to live my own life again. At least the choice is in my... All right, it's about time to head back. Paulo should...
Sure, okay.
Didn't you say you needed to watch what you eat? You're supposed to be cutting down on fried foods, not wolfing down copious quantities of fish and chips, you know?
Come on. It's not every day we get to dine at Spina di Anyway, my character doesn't need to be slim and good-looking. That's your job.
Are you kidding me right now? It's not your character's health I'm worried about, it's yours. I've spent my whole life battling the effects of ill health, and it kills me to watch you willingly ruin yours by filling yourself up with junk all the
Orang
time.
lagi sakit kalau kasih
Oh
nasihat
no,
tuh diikutin
looks
ya
like
cuy.
they're arguing again. We're back! Could you maybe put your differences aside for a moment?
Ah, you're back. We've been enjoying Spina di Rosula's VIP treatment in your stead. Paulo's nearly done. We shouldn't have to wait too much longer.
Great! So you were discussing your characters, right? We heard she's playing the Oceanid who turns into a human girl. What about you?
Me? I'm an Oceanid too.
He was originally supposed to take the form of a crane, but he outgrew that role. Well, the costume at least. So now he's playing the boar instead.
Sorry.
The boar's not a bad character, actually. He's the one who raises the little Oceanid, yes?
Wait,
That's right.
bentar apa? Aku sama Oceanid. Dia harus nyari burung bangun tapi ya, itu terlalu subur. Kosongnya kasih sandes. Okay.
If you become human, you can reveal
Jangan
your
ceritakan
secret to no
rahasia.
one. You will face suffering and loneliness. Is this truly what you want?
Wait, that sounds kind of familiar.
It's the most important line in the whole script. I think it's a symbolic statement about she kept quiet about all the trials and tribulations she faced in running our troupe, allowing us to devote ourselves fully to performing. It was only after she was gone that we realized how tough her job really was.
You mentioned earlier that the troupe was like your home.
Yeah. I was born with an incurable illness, and once my family found out it couldn't be treated, I spent some years taking whatever work I could find and trying to manage my illness with various medicines. But whenever I had a bad flare-up, I'd be lying in an alleyway for... It was like that until the director found me one day. She told me I had a great voice and asked if I was interested. She took me under her wing, taught me to both sing and act, helped me find Mora for my meds, took care of me when my condition decided to flare up. I know it was all a huge burden on her.
She sounds like a really incredible person.
She really was. She gave everything she had to her troupe and the people in it. I was a lost child too when she found me. As the child of a murderer, my parents weren't around when I was little, so I got sent to an orphan. The other kids were always picking fights with me. They'd say things like, "Come on, you must be pretty tough if you're the son of a murderer." One day, I got beaten up so bad that I just couldn't take it anymore, so I ran away. I lost all faith in humanity by that point.
Let me guess. Fortunately, the next person you ran into was the director.
Yeah, for the first time in my life, I was somewhere I felt safe. And I promised myself I'd stay here until the day the group parted ways.
The day you hoped would never come. How times change.
Oh, you're finally done? Get your butt over here. There's someone I need to introduce you to. This is our new artistic consultant, Miss FURINA.
FURINA? The FURINA? Oh my god, how did you manage to
Kaget ya,
wrangle
kaget.
that?
Please, the honor is all mine. I was
Same here.
Even so, this is just... Oh wow, I'm sorry. I'll try to calm down. Now, where was I? Ah, yes, the script, of course. Let me give you a rundown of how the story unfolds in my version of the script. I'm sure you're already familiar with the beginning of the story. A little Oceanid decides she wants to become a human, against the wishes of her family. She finds love and friendship in the bustling city. But then, disaster strikes. The people start to notice that all the fresh water in the surrounding area is slowly disappearing. The soil is becoming arid. The little Oceanid, Cleo, and her lover decide to do something about it, and investigate the truth of the matter together. In the end, they discover that all the waste and pollution created by humans over the years has caused the fresh water to flee the land, as if driven by a consciousness of its own.
Consciousness? You mean...
water as a conscious entity. There's actually quite a few stories that explore.
Since the little Oceanid is a water spirit, she immediately understands how the water is feeling. She then tells her lover about her true identity, as well as the truth behind the crisis. Her lover accepts her for who she is, and works with her to find a way to bring the water back. However, unbeknownst to them, there were some people eavesdropping when she revealed her secret. The little Oceanid is accused of being direct.
And then?
In the end, she makes the brave decision to sacrifice herself to save her.
Huh? But didn't they all treat Cleo like a villain? Why would she want to save them after that?
Well, she mainly wanted to save her lover, plus everyone who'd stood up for her.
Through her love for her
Mengantuk.
human partner, she was able to find an even greater love. One that extended to all.
There's actually something else. You know the protagonist is supposed to If we're serious about dedicating this show to her memory, we should make the ending as true to life as possible. What about if the little Oceanid is hounded to death by people who hate her?
That sounds like too cruel of an ending to me. And
That ending would be a perfect mirror to Director Aureli's death. Both on the day when she went missing, Director Aureli had instructed us all, somewhat out of the blue, to leave the court of Fontaine and wait for her outside the city. We waited and waited at the rendezvous point, but she never came. By the time we returned to the city, she disappeared without a trace. We looked for her. The Gardamex looked for her, but she was nowhere to be found. Increasingly, all the signs seemed to point to her being the latest victim in the serial disappearances case.
The director was the kindest soul in the world.
I've been trying to follow up on that ever since, but all my efforts so
Vilma? The one who's playing the role of the villain?
Yeah. He's been overwhelmed by grief. I think the director's death hit him hardest of all.
Grief? Guilt, more like. Also, I have a hard time imagining that because...
What? You...
It's time to be upfront with you all. No more keeping secrets from each other. We'll never be able to agree. I did tell her how I felt once, but she said that we were all like brothers and sisters to her, and she never considered us as potential romantic partners. Not that it came as a shock or anything. It was what I was expecting to hear. So I told her I'd always be there for the troupe, and I'd always be there for her. I said, maybe one day in the future, when everyone's settled into their own lives and on the up and up, and managing the troupe no longer
Ini kok
required her constant
storynya malah
attention.
melebar-lebar ya.
Well,
Padahal
maybe
inti
then
utamanya
she
tuh di
could
awal
reconsider
cuman
what
mau
she really
kontes
wanted
tapi
in her life.
pemeran utamanya
And
sakit.
now,
Nah sekarang
day will
pemeran
never come.
utamanya udah sembuh jadi
Paulo.
mau dilanjutin lah.
so if I'm the
Sama
one writing
pemeran
this
penggantinya
ending,
juga udah ada.
then I'm gonna make sure it does
Sampai
right
sekarang
by
melebar ke
O'Reilly.
masa-masa lain,
I
Cok.
won't let
In that case, we've all had our differences of opinion over the ending. But those two have...
Well, if that's where we're at, looks like it's time to go.
Are you ready to face the truth?
Honestly, I'm slightly terrified. Funny you should ask, though. You really do get what I'm going through right now.
I certainly do. Come on, everyone.
Oke. Nggak dapat Primo pun. Apakah kita kunjungi dia ini di tempat-tempat terbuka kayak gini?
This is tough going. Delphi, are you sure you can manage in your condition?
I could ask you the same question. Try to keep up.
Ugh, as if this journey wasn't tough enough already without a roadblock.
Don't worry. We should all be fine with the traveler here. We don't need to take a detour. Wait, why are you all looking at me? You're not serious.
We're just curious, that's all. I don't think anyone's ever
Coba,
seen
coba.
FURINA in a fight before.
Yeah, but don't you remember why? The Hydro Archon willingly gave up all her power so it could be converted into Indemnitium. Miss FURINA said so herself.
Precisely. And I'm not even as much as it pains me, unfortunately. I should just stay put. I'm more like a damsel in distress more than...
That sounded so smug. Ugh, secondhand embarrassment is unbearable.
Belagu amat, jijik dengarnya sampai ikutan malu sendiri.
C'est la vie indeed. Alas, I am forced to watch on helplessly as a more brave and seasoned adventurer than I swoop.
Aw, too bad. I was so...
Sorry to leave all the heavy lifting to you.
Don't worry, piece of cake.
Teamwork is dreamwork. The wind knows me. One with nature. That hurts.
written in the stars.
As one with wind and cloud.
Bravo! Good show! You certainly live up to your reputation.
Yeah, thank you. Anyway, the path is cleared now, so onwards and upwards.
Vilma, are you there?
Huh? Oh, it's you guys. Wait, what's the...
I can explain. We've been rounding up the...
So, you think knowing the truth about the director's disappearance will help you write an ending to the... If I open this can of worms now...
Vilma, avoiding the truth will not help any... Unless you mean to suggest that Aurelie's death had something to do with you.
I don't want to talk about it.
Listen, Vilma. I used to think that my love for Aurelie was a point of shame. I never brought it up to anyone. But now, I've made up my mind to put it all on the table. I'm prepared to face everything, to sacrifice everything for the sake of the show. The little Oceanid cannot be complete unless we do justice to Aurelie on an emotional level.
This is why people think... As you all know already, the troupe was kept afloat not from... We took on side jobs. So, anyway, one day after a show, a merchant came to me and offered us a huge sponsorship. In return, we just had to provide the audience with their drinks during performances. It seemed like a win-win, so I said yes to it on the spot without consulting the director. It was only when the merchant came to... The drink in question was...
Isn't that the drink peddled by the culprit behind the serial disappearances case?
I freaked out when I saw the boxes. And I told the director everything right away. She was completely shocked as well. But she didn't reprimand me for making the decision without consulting her. Instead, the merchant was furious, berated us for going back on our word, and threatened to sue us for damages.
And then...
I was going to sort it on my own, but the director stopped me. She said that this was an issue for the whole troupe, and it wasn't my fault. But things only got worse from there. The synth merchant just wouldn't let up, and then suddenly I admit this whole thing was my mistake. I didn't dare to tell any of you the truth back then, and after the director disappeared, I was even more afraid to say anything. Yeah, I got Aurelie killed. There, I said it. Happy now?
Lah,
Hey, don't say that.
You traitor! You knew Aurelie was in danger. Why in God's name didn't you tell us? What do you mean? You were afraid? This was a life and death situation. How could you be so
Please, try not to get too worked.
Yeah, listen to him.
Stay calm? How can I stay calm? This guy got Aurelie murdered. She was the love of my life. And he has the gall to try and high-road us, claiming that he kept his mouth shut for the sake of the show. How about taking some responsibility for what he's done?
All I can say is I'm sorry. Truly. I wanted to apologize to everyone in the troupe. I'm just a coward who made an awful, terrible mistake that I can never take back. Beat me up if you want. Kill me if you prefer. It's what I deserve. End my life. So I can meet the director and apologize.
Get out of my sight. Go, get lost.
That's enough! You've screamed and shouted at each other for long enough. Now pipe down, both of you! Can you stop conflating the show on stage with your real-life relationships in the troupe? You keep saying that you want to use this final performance to pay tribute to your director and celebrate her life. How can you do that if you're just using it as an excuse to vent your own emotions?
You're right.
I'm sorry.
On stage, the lead role is the focal point of the audience's attention. And you're all used to seeing the director as the heart of the but in her own life, her greatest desire wasn't to be the center of attention. I can tell how much she loved. What she wanted was to build a warm home for all of her brothers and sisters. I understand why you're trying to make her the hero of the story, but isn't she your hero already? After everything she did for you?
Yeah.
So think hard about what that means. And then think again about what you hope to achieve by arguing with each other. If you really hate each other and can't reconcile your differences, then you could just call it quits now. Why bother with the final performance if the group is already fractured? But you can't bring yourself to do that, can you? You care too much about Director O'Reilly and the home she built you all to let go. What are you laughing at? I don't see what's so funny.
Sorry, I didn't mean it that way. It's just that, for a moment there, it felt like our director was back with us again. If she'd seen Paulo and Vilmont at each other's throats like that, she would have scolded them exactly like you did, in that same stern voice.
Really? But she sounded like such a gentle person.
Of course she was.
Aduh, ceritanya
Even
Furina,
her harshest
astaga.
lectures came from a...
I'm truly sorry.
It's all right.
So,
Clearly, everyone needs to take a step back for now and reflect on what really matters. The end of the story needs to focus back on O'Reilly herself. She's the true star of the show.
what do you mean?
The Traveler is right. If you could find anything that
You really think that's possible?
I trust that nobody would object to the ending of the story being based on O'Reilly's truth.
No.
Well,
Come, let's pay a visit to the Palais Mermonia. The rest of you,
Aduh, anjir lah. Cok. Wait, bentar. Aku bakalan apa namanya? Tunggu bentar sekitar 5 menit ya. Aku kelarin Duolingo aku dulu, sabar. Sambil menunggu sunset di Inazuma.
Into the wind. One with nature.
Oke. Jamnya apa bersihin aja lah. Oke, bentar dulu. Cek.
I only wish life could be as leisurely as this a little more often. How greedy of me. A blade embraces its duty, as a jeweler cherishes their gems. So this is a day in the life of the Traveler. I'm learning more about you all the time. A blade embraces its duty, as a jeweler cherishes their gems. I only wish life could be as leisurely as this a little more often. How greedy of me. A blade embraces its duty, as a jeweler cherishes their gems. A blade embraces its duty, as a jeweler cherishes their gems. So this is a day in the life of the traveler. I'm learning more about you all the time. A blade embraces its duty, as a jeweler cherishes their gems. I only wish life could be as leisurely as this a little more often. How greedy of me. A blade embraces its duty, as a jeweler cherishes their gems. A blade embraces its duty, as a jeweler cherishes their gems. So this is a day in the life of the traveler. I'm learning more about you all the time. A blade is like a tea leaf. Only those who sample it many times can appreciate its true qualities.
You want to review some recovered items? Still, since you were the ones who discovered and submitted the evidence in the first place, you don't actually have to submit an application. Okay, please hold on. I'll have someone
So, this is all O'Reilly left behind. Just whatever she was carrying on her person and this tattered old notebook.
Hey! It's full of script lines! And sketches too! Looks like they show where the different props should be placed on stage.
Let me take a look. Maybe there's something in here from after... Aha! I found something. To whoever looks like she kept a detailed record of her captor's actions. She even mentions the truth behind the experiments on dissolving young women. If we'd had the chance to examine this notebook carefully back then, it would have been a conclusive piece of evidence proving Vacher's guilt.
Vacher took so many lives. It's still so unthinkable how many victims he had.
I guess O'Reilly must have written all of this down in the hope that her records would one day be of use to investigators. Wait, it cuts off. Her handwriting here gets patchier and more illegible by the line. She probably didn't have much strength left. Her final words are... I'll let you read them for yourselves.
Apa kita baca apa? Ada yang ditangkap lagi. Ini sudah orang ke-6 atau sudah ke-7 ya. Ada yang mencoba kabur kemarin tapi gagal, dia tidak kelihatan lagi. Belum tentu kemarin sih dia sudah tidak tahu waktu lagi. Maaf, aku tidak tahu menulis ini masih berguna tidak dan berapa lama lagi masih bisa menulis. Riwayatku sudah kelihatan ujungnya, tapi yang lebih mengerikan lagi aku lihat ada di sini. Aku berhasil melindungi mereka kan, maafkan aku sudah tidak bisa. Oke. Panjang anjir. Aku udah mau kalau ada yang lihat seluruh selang aku mereka
She was so terrified.
She may have been a mighty hero in the eyes of... I can't bear to think how painful and lonely her final day... wait. This part...
Sebab dilipat silakan di halaman kosong paling belakang. Di bawah dan di bawahnya ada 2 baris tulisan yang lebih bisa dibaca dan sepertinya dibuat dengan bersusah payah, menghabisi waktu yang lama juga. Jika kamu menjadi manusia, jangan sampai rahasiamu ketahuan. Kamu harus terima penderitaan dan kesepian selamanya. Apakah itu? Karena aku adalah kakak mereka, aku sayang mereka.
If you become human, you can reveal your secret to no one.
Isn't that the most important line in the little Oceanid?
Because I am an older
Oh.
So she didn't regret her decision. Even as she sat in silence. Wait, I'm sure this is what the troupe would have hoped to hear as well. She had their utmost trust. Let's go.
Okay.
She deserves a hero's farewell.
Even in the last moments of her life, she was still leaving a trail for others to follow.
She did her best to protect as many people as possible. We know what choice our little Oceanid would have made now. I don't think any more discussion is necessary. Well, Vilmont, if we put the past aside for now, do you think you can bring yourself to go ahead with the show?
I will channel all my regret and put it into my performance, to make this a show worthy of our director. I won't ask for your forgiveness, and you don't need to worry about my feelings. This final farewell show should be about Director Aurelie and her alone.
Then it seems like we've reached a consensus.
Okay.
I have a feeling...
Really? How can you be so sure when you've never even seen...
Don't underestimate my experience. If you want to move the audience with your and aren't human emotions, love, I don't believe anybody could be more committed to bringing this story to life on the stage than they are.
Thank you for the vote of confidence, Miss FURINA. And thank you for supporting us through all this.
Then,
Wah,
let's
ini
not
quest.
delay things any longer. We need
Ini
to
bakalan
discuss the details
bagus.
of the ending and get it nailed down once and for all.
Ternyata cuma
Actually, before that, I'd like during the curtain call, please allow me to use the director's name.
Huh? But then...
After all, this role was originally meant to be played by the director. Besides, a role commemorating her life should be associated with her name.
Well, if you're sure you...
Now we're talking like a... Alright, I'll leave you to fine-tune your musical while I go and procure a stage.
Procure a stage?
Oh, it's okay. Our usual place doesn't need a reservation.
That place? Oh, don't be silly. For an extraordinary show, we need an extraordinary stage. By which I, of course, mean the Opera Epiclese.
Whoa, wait, what?
No. That's never going to work. It's far too fancy for the likes of us.
What are you afraid of? Surely you don't think that Aurelie's story is unworthy of the grandest stage in Fontaine.
FURINA.
No, that's not what I meant.
Ternyata di luar
It is
ekspektasi.
supposed to be your grand finale, right?
I'll take your silence as a yes. Thank you for giving us this opportunity. It really is a dream come true.
Well, then don't disappoint me. If you mess this up, it'll reflect poorly on me too. Come on. We'll need to get the go-ahead from Neuvillette.
Lihat lagi. Aduh, gue story kalau kayak gini semua mati sih, sumpah. Dari tadi lo cuma diklik-klik doang. Awas aja kalau animasinya
Hey,
nggak
look at
bagus.
that! Looks like I guessed right.
You were just guessing?
I knew you'd be here.
I'm here merely for a short break. It has been a while, Miss FURINA. And you too, Traveler in Paimon. What might I assist you with today?
I would like to book the Opera Epiclese for an event. You see...
I understand. The process for booking the Opera Epiclese is complex and can be somewhat... The story of the little Oceanid is most fascinating. I will say, however, that I am surprised to see your passion for the performing arts...
What do you mean? Do I look excited?
Yes. And this is the first time that I've seen you like this since your departure from deityhood.
At first, I just felt bad about rejecting them. So I wanted to learn a little bit more about their situation. In the past, we sat in our high chairs in the court, giving our opinions on isolated cases. Maybe it's because I finally become an ordinary person and gained my freedom. But I've developed a great sense of curiosity about their lives.
I am truly delighted to see you find a new lease on life. Now that you've regained some confidence, have you had any thoughts regarding a return to the stage?
Why would you?
Well, if the Little Oceanid turns out to be a great success, it will no doubt become a classic. Many theater companies are certain to add it to their repertoire. The experiences and decisions of the protagonist Cleo are all modeled after your own. Naturally, this makes you eminently suited to playing the leading role. It would truly be a shame if you did not take this opportunity to...
Haven't I already? Nor do I think it is any. This experience is a case
Wah,
of
sumpah
point.
ini ceritanya agak kurang sih. Jadi kita skip aja ya.
I sincerely hope the show will...
Thanks, Nervalek.
You are very...
Dan bantu-bantu di sana. 12 meter.
Good news, everyone. It's done. Thanks to my eloquent and impassioned speech, we've had to fight. A touching story. Now,
Skip.
let's work together.
The sooner we can find... Fiamal and I just went over some parts of the script and tweaked a few things.
Wow, you two had a...
Communication is vital to any good performance.
It's amazing. Even though Furina's...
Please feel free to give us any comments or...
Hey, Loic, get over.
Apakah cutscene? Oh, enggak. Oke, pelukan.
Accursed Cleo. She stole the waters of life from us. She's a fraud, and she must pay for her crimes.
Oke.
This has nothing to do with her. The ignorance and hatred of our people is to blame. How can we hope to win back the water's favor if we don't change our ways?
Oke, ini kayaknya seru
This
nih.
guy could be useful. Take him hostage. If Cleo wants him back,
Cleo.
she'll have to show herself.
Leave this place, oh little Oceanid, and never, ever look back!
Oke, tepuk tangan kena.
Everyone's really throwing themselves into their roles. I haven't seen such a fine... If
Kalau saja
only-
dia mau masuk.
What should we do? It's almost time for her to...
Why?
Hey, what's going on?
Aduh.
You're due on stage any second now. Oh no, not again. But why? What about your new meds? Did they stop working?
They've been getting less and less effective over time. I've had to keep increasing my dose.
What? I thought they cure it. So they were only managing your symptoms?
I figured whatever it took to get me through this final performance.
How could you do this to yourself? And after that lecture you gave me about not looking after my health,
Aduh.
I'm sorry.
you...
Ayo Furina maju.
Miss Furina?
Say no more. If you're sick, you need to rest. I know what you're... Loic, your character has no more scenes, correct?
Oh, yeah. I think my scenes are all done. Although, I do have one more line.
Please take Delphi back to her place to rest. I'll... From the sublime to the ridiculous.
Bentar mau pakai kameranya dulu.
After all that, everything's come full circle.
Thank you, Miss Farina. I'm so sorry to put you in this position after everything you said.
Never mind. What's done is done. It's really my own fault for getting
Let's
into...
go.
No one likes regrets. Leave it to me. I've watched you rehearse so many times that I've learned Cleo's parts by...
I do not doubt your acting skills, but Please allow me to ask just one more question. What, in your opinion, is the reason Cleo
It's her pure heart. Despite all the pain and loneliness she had to endure, she never once stopped.
Well said. I leave Director O'Reilly in your hands.
Cutscene kah? Oh, cutscene. Oh iya, Jo. Oh, cutscene.
Is she here yet?
Let's get here!
She's not coming!
You're wrong. She's here.
Si je pouvais vivre dans l'eau, le monde serait-il plus beau? Me pardonnerais-tu, ô chère mère? L'eau dans son courant fait danser nos vies et la cité
Furin yang nyanyi.
est nourrie, ainsi que toi, mon doux amour.
But what about your wish?
My wish.
If you become human, you can reveal your secret to no one. You will face suffering and loneliness. Is this truly what you want?
Le grand amour ne suffit pas, seul un adieu fleurira. C'est notre histoire de vie, douce et amère. Moi, je suis et serai toujours là, à voir le monde et sa beauté. Et ça ne changera jamais, jamais.
Oke, udah kelar. Ya, animasinya gitu doang kah? Ya, gitu doang, Cok. Nggak apa-apa lah ya, kita taruh 3 menit. Terus mereka geleng-geleng, ngangguk-ngangguk, tandanya bagus.
Is it just me? Or was that Lady Farina on this? She hasn't been seen for a while now. And she just appeared. Gotta say, though, her acting skills.
The little Oceanid, Cleo, played by Aurélie Fumont.
Wait, that's not her name. What's going on? I don't know. Maybe it's just a doppelganger.
I've spent a lot of time out of the spotlight, and they didn't use my name during the curtain call either. Hopefully, not too many people. It's too bad that I had to break the one clear rule I'd managed to make. Still, I have to admit, it felt good to be back.
Finally, we would like to give a special thanks to our artistic consultant and event coordinator, Miss Farina.
Nah, disebut.
Hey, that's not what we agreed on.
Oh, so it was Farina after all. She's back.
Honestly, what is he doing? He should have run that by me first.
All right, calm down. Don't be mad. This was a group decision. We just didn't want your contributions to go unacknowledged. After all, it's been the rule in Fontaine since ancient times that everyone's work, visible or invisible, is equally
Yes, I know the rule, but
It's no big deal. What's the worst that could happen?
oh yeah. Well, since you think it's so
This is a great chat and all, but can we? Paimon flew over to where she was supposed.
Oh, I've got no idea. I'll bet the audience has never.
Wait, what about Dolphy? I want.
Let's go check on her as soon as we finish clearing the stage.
Yes. Plus, she'll definitely want to hear how the end of the show went. If nothing else, we can safely.
Kehidupan yang masih kembali ke Dolphy dan Lawik, oke? Semoga dikit lagi selesai. Semoga si Dolphy aman-aman ya. Oh, aman-aman dia.
Ah, you're back. She's doing okay. Her condition stabilized after taking some of her original medication. From experience, though.
How did the performance go?
You'll be glad to know it.
That's wonderful. I'm so sorry I failed to.
No, don't worry about it. Even though you couldn't see.
Well, I've had bad luck.
Blaming your bad luck again.
Oh, don't you.
Aw, you two.
I don't know what you're talking.
You mean we never stop?
So, any plans for the next step? After the brilliant performance you put on, the reputation of your troupe is you could capitalize on the rave review.
No, we should.
Yeah.
Huh?
It's what we all agreed to.
After all that's happened, I should give you guys some space. But maybe our paths will cross.
Hey, don't just walk off.
I still want to keep performing, so I might join another troupe.
Des.
After watching Miss Furina's performance, I think I'm starting to understand our director's infatuation with musicals.
You should do it. It suits you. I'd originally hoped to keep performing too, but.
Oh, so what about you, Miss Furina?
Well, frankly, you rather sealed my fate there with your special thanks at the end.
Sorry.
It's quite all right. No need to apologize. Maybe Nervilette was right. I still don't wish to pretend to be someone else. But yeah. There was once a time when I was an but from now on, I want to watch them blossom. I'm sure this.
Sounds like you're ready to step. The more you get out into the world, the more you'll discover what a fascinating.
If a vision is a gift from the gods, then I should do my best to honor it.
Satu jam setengah akhirnya kelar juga adik-adik. Storynya nggak terlalu panjang ya, dan agak kurang sih menurut saya, karena ini kupikir bakalan panjang ya, ada banyak fightnya, ternyata cuma storynya doang. Jadi sekilas tuh storynya adalah di Fontaine itu ada satu perkumpulan yang dimana tuh mereka bakalan membuat kontes terakhirnya, cuman masalah utamanya itu adalah pemeran utamanya itu sakit. Nah, jadi digantikan sama si Furina. Nah, sekarang udah kelar, udah selesai, cuma gitu doang. Sangat ini ya, sangat membuat ngantuk ya Furina ini. Oke lah, mungkin nanti kita akan bakalan lanjut lagi untuk quest story karakter yang lain nanti saya tentuin lagi. Thank you yang udah sempat mampir, makasih banyak cuy. Aku nggak bisa live di TikTok karena ke banned cuy sampai tanggal 19. Oke semuanya, thank you, bye bye.